Ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is Over coming to you with another Company of Heroes 2 1v1. This one between OKW and Blue. It's going to be Fortune and his opponent up here saying howdy to all of us today. It's going to be Lima Oscar Mike playing as the UKF. Now, the title of this particular replay is supposed to be Dude Went Non-Meta. Now, I don't know which side's actually going non-meta, but it should be interesting either way. Lima Oscar Mike bringing on in Royal Artillery Regiment, Special Weapons Regiment, and Mobile Assault Regiment, so God willing we won't see this thing because, I just don't like seeing that as much. Fortune, by his own particular decisions, is coming on in with Fortifications, Breakthrough, and Scavenge Doctrine. So in both cases, kind of some standard commanders coming out, maybe a couple less standard commanders. Royal Artillery Regiment, for example, does not often get a lot of play, but it could be rather interesting. We'll see. Regardless, Fortune seems to be going opening rather standard. He's bringing on in a Volksgrenadier and now a Kubelwagen. Now the Lima Oscar Mike, or LOM, looks like he's bringing a Universal Carrier. So that already is a little bit different. We don't often see Universal Carriers being brought in this early. Usually it's a little bit later on. Just a tiny bit, though. But anyway, so the map itself, of course, is going to be Langreskya. And we have a lovely little bit of an engagement going on between Kubelwagen and infantry sections. Now, we're also seeing a couple of trenches going on up early, and I'm hoping that's not going to be the standard of play here, because the trenches are just so stupid annoying, man. Just really annoying. Kubelwagen will get pushed back, but it will allow the Germans in the meantime to push on over here, take their fuel first, and get it actually into supply a good 5 or 10 seconds before the Brits. Doesn't seem like much, perhaps, but in the OKW, with things that cost a lot of fuel, that can be the difference between victory and defeat. 3rd Infantry Section coming on out, and I guess we are going to see Breakthrough Doctrine being selected by Fortune over here, which means we might see an overload into Panzerfusiliers. Now, of course, this needs to wait until he gets a couple of command points in, but we have seen Fortune do this before. I'm pretty sure it was Fortune. It might have been Pauly D. Either way, we have seen Breakthrough Doctrine utilizing those G43s on top of Panzerfusiliers rather well. Universal Carrier comes on out, though, with that rather annoying Bren carrier. Bren gun on top of it. The reason, of course, why it was actually called a Bren carrier. Because the standard armament, of course. But it looks like we're seeing a very early SWS coming on out. Brits, though, do have themselves a 2-to-1 cap advantage, but now the Germans are rushing on in, trying to push back against this rather annoying vehicle. Chasing like crazy, and shockingly enough, the Kubelwagen is not having the worst part of this, mostly because of the assistance, I would say. But Platoon Command Post being called on in already, a fairly quick one. Not the quickest I've ever seen, but still pretty darn good. Kubelwagen now might want to back up. Those Lee Enfields are shockingly good at doing damage. In the northwestern side, though, Volksgrenadiers will line up against Infantry Section up here. Not going to go really that much different either way. Maybe lose a model or two, but who cares? And it's going to be, it looks like, a quick battle group headquarters coming on out. Volksgrenadiers in a foot race for the garrison, and I don't think they're going to win this one. Nope, they're not. And a Royal Engineer being called on in, so this is a little bit different already, and Fortune loses his Sturm Pioneers from a very opportunistic attack coming out from this Universal Carrier, which means that this Kubelwagen is probably going to go out as well. And there that goes, so Fortune taking some devastating losses already, and Lima Oscar Mike doing really quite well. Doing crazy amounts of damage to this retreating squad of Volksgrenadiers as well. But whether out of being... Just notice my Tommy in your territory, on your territory. Oh, okay. So, forgive me for missing that. So just like Lima Oscar Mike, he's dropped a squad of Tommies here. Could not tell you for the life of me where those guys died, but that's alright, I suppose. With Sturm Pioneers back out on the map, the Germans do again have a relatively decent force to fight against the rather heavier infantry sections and now Universal Carrier. That Vickers K mount coming on in, that's a 30 cal or 50 cal? A Vickers K, so I think that was a 30. I'm sure someone out there will be happy to tell me differently. And Volksgrenadier is going down, so Fortune not playing with his characteristic, let's say, unit preservation. Indeed, his troops are getting slaughtered. We might see a quick... Nope, I was going to say, thought we might have seen a Panzerfaust here, and I think he's trying to get in range for it. But he's taking devastating losses to do it. Sturm Pioneers coming in around, trying to do some damage over here to the Universal Carrier. We'll do some, but if they cross that road, they're going to take some really, really bad losses. Volksgrenadier toss out an incendiary grenade to do some hurting over here on the infantry section, but regardless, Fortune is getting messed up in a bad, bad way. Which is why he's bringing himself in an AA half-track. That's probably a good decision, all things considered. Seeing as how now we have a Vickers machine gun coming on out for the Brits, and Fortune is still languishing under a 2-1 cap. So with that, though, Lima Oscar Mike still has a massive army advantage. I don't know if these guys are trying to throw down... It looked like they were trying to destroy cover. Okay, so they got rid of the barbed wire. There they go. But in the meantime, Germans coming on in. We'll mess up this infantry section rather badly. Once it drops down the size of that gun. And shockingly enough, for some reason, does not start unloading on them. Never mind. Okay. And there's the beginning of the Panzer Fusilier spam, I would hope. He desperately needs to bring in some good infantry here. Now, like I said, these guys are great at distance fighting. Unfortunately, all they really have to counter enemy vehicles is just an anti-tank rifle grenade. That would seem like it's rather good, but doesn't have anywhere near the kind of penetration that you would see from the Volksgrenadier Panzerfaust, nor does it have that penchant, I would say, for crits. I'm sure somebody out there will disagree with me, but just my thought. Germans will, at least in the meantime, decap this center position. And they're going to threaten to start decapping a fuel point over here to the eastern flank. Vickers is pulling back in the face of, now, the Volksgrenadier is being rather adventuresome. And I don't know, it's not really going to do a whole lot. Okay, he's shooting actually for that Bren carrier. He's going to do rather well there. Good God. And should be able to get a kill or two, maybe on this squad as it retreats. That's one, that's two, that's three. Can you get the last one? Answer to that is no, just barely not. But they will push over here and push back these Royal Engineers, who have now decapped this fuel position, but they've lost their own fuel over to the eastern side. Once again, I want to see how well this half-track does, because so far it seems like a brilliant decision. One more burst of fire might call some more flesh. No, just barely getting out alive. The Germans are sent packing. The Sturm Pioneers getting messed up rather severely by this infantry section. But the G43s and the Panzer Fusiliers coming on in. From close range, this is going to be... It's just a numbers game for a bit of time. And I cannot give that advantage to the Brits. As expected, there they go. So AEC is called on in, and now the Brits are actually putting down a trench right through the German lines, carving a dagger into them, really.
Squad knocked out.
But it seems they lose a squad in any case.
Our capture point. They're trying to take it.
Panzer Fusiliers, in the meantime, moving in and around on this infantry section. But the Vickers, as well as this Bren carrier, will send Germans heading for the hills. AA half-track getting hit pretty hardcore, though. AEC coming on in, and that's going to do a lot of damage. He's not making it out alive. This is going to be a dead AA half-track. That's a bit unfortunate. Now, we could see a very quick Faust here, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Although, Fortune is bringing on in a, what you call it, a, Rakettenwerfer. And I'd have to agree with Fortune. Trenches seem to be ridiculously overpowered by comparison to what they cost, and frankly, how long it takes you to put them even up. Volksgrenadiers are being broken quite a bit. They kind broken if we are able to place garrison. Not sure what he means there. But we are seeing a frustration set of, I would say... I thought we were going to see another grenade or two, but nope, not going to happen. But with that, Fortune is still down a 2-1 cap. He's down almost 100 tickets, and it will hit 100 fairly quickly. Panzer Fusiliers coming around, going to throw up, my guess is an anti-tank grenade? No, he's not. He's not even going to try. which is kind of surprising. I mean, that AEC is not the devastating killing machine it used to be. Here we go. Yeah, wow, shockingly enough, there goes that engine crit right there. Question is, can that Rakettenwerfer get there in time? And oh, never mind, facing orders cancelled. He's not going to make it out there. Didn't even see where he put him up. But alright, with that, the Germans are down, like I said, 100 tickets. There's another infantry section coming on in for Lima Oscar Mike. But it looks like the Germans might have enough to deflect the Brits for right now. No guarantees, of course, but could be just enough to deflect them. Rakettenwerfer might get one more shot off at this Bren. No.
One extra soldier can be added to infantry squads now.
And that's the thing about Langreskya. There's this really weird hill right here that's just enough to stop flat trajectory materials from kind of coming on over top. And Fortune is calling that out right now. I'm not sure if he notices the fact that there's that brouhaha. It's one of those things that even the most veteran players sometimes forget. I'm not sure I necessarily agree that it sounds like a Raketten, but I would say it's just the nature of the map itself. At least the Germans do have themselves medics out on the field, which means that these guys are hurt for right now, but they will come back better than ever. Another Raketten coming on in, and the SWS being called in as well. Thing is, if the Germans don't prevent this fuel point from falling into British hands, or at least even being decapped, well, that Schwerpanzer headquarters, it's just still coming in good time, but just dropping it short delays it by a few more seconds here or there. The Rakettenwerfer just going to throw a couple of rounds, I think, into this garrison here. Somehow, shockingly enough, doesn't even hit from that range. And the domination by Lima Oscar Mike kind of continues here. Good gosh. Will we see an anti-tank grenade? Survey says probably. But right now, the Germans are taking heavy losses being in this area. Just a regular shield Hankonata. It's a little bit of damage, but not anywhere near enough. These Rakettenwerfers are worthless right now. Good God. I'm not hitting anything. Okay, if I were Fortune, I'd be really starting to get kind of pissed here. Meanwhile, as Panzer Fusiliers continue to suffer. Might even get picked off? No, they don't get picked off, but it's really, really hard. Yeah, I feel bad for him right now. On the plus side, this Universal Carrier, 16 kills. But this trench continues to be alive because this little hill that's right there as well. Now, perversely, if you're on this side or here, there we go, after about 95 rounds go on in, he finally pushes it back. And Strom Pine is getting the pound of flesh from this infantry section as it backs away. Small targets. I'm not sure trenches count as small targets. I might be wrong. Germans, in the meantime, under the effect of a trip cap. Indeed, they've been strangled for a lot of resources through all of this. M6 mine is down on the field. Question is, can the Rakettenwerfer return and ping the AEC? Doesn't look like it's going to be too easy. Now with more mines sprinkled liberally around the German side of the map, going to be kind of rough.
Enemy causing trouble, trying to take one of our points.
The Panzer Fusiliers threaten a decap over here on the top, and indeed might even be able to pick it up. And 3 times out of 10, yeah, I mean, considering how many times you fired, that trench should have been down about 10 times over. But you can see the kind of transition we are seeing from Fortune. He's going to try to really kind of, I think, stay over here with the Panzer Fusiliers. There's a number of rifles now trying to pick off a couple of squads here and there, but now Bren guns are out on these infantry sections.
They still have 300 points remaining.
That's hard to... That's some hard cheese right there, my friend.
Enemy threatening a capture point.
Rakettenwerfer going to get found out by the Sten guns. AEC is in the area. Will he get at least one shot off? No, he does, but he completely whiffs. Raketten is going to reface a couple of shots coming on in. AEC will probably jet out of there after the next shot. There we go. That's a better couple of hits there. And the Schwerpanzer headquarters plays close fire support and takes out the Royal Engineer Squad. So that's a small victory. But considering the kind of losses he's suffered so far, it doesn't seem like a whole lot. Panzer Fusiliers facing off against these Bren guns right here. Not going to go well. Grenade. And animation cancels a grenade, and indeed, I think brilliant call. Allows his Volksgrenadiers to get into position. Does some good damage. Might be able to take him out. Probably not. No, he doesn't. But he does get his own fuel back. That's important. And he's starting to push the Brits back across the field. Now, we have a ways to go in this particular replay, I can tell you that much.
Supply line's been cut.
And I'm kind of surprised that we're not seeing any sort of tech coming out from the company command post. We have the platoon, obviously, already. But I can't see what he's invested all of this fuel in. He had a good chunk of it. He did weapon racks. We'll see in a bit, I'm sure. We're getting rougher. It's facing on up, but again, take a look at this. So, first of all, actually, mine right here. Vickers right here is going to keep him pinned. And this hill and this hill are going to frustrate him quite a bit. Unless he can manage some sort of god curvy shot. In the meantime, though, Strum Pioneers will drop down a couple of mines of their own, looking to put the shoe on the other foot. They're going to get that mine off just in time before this infantry section sees them. And a Strom Offizier being called on in as well. So, interestingly enough, target them, pretty darn awesome. And forced retreat. This is kind of interesting because you can get one vital squad out, but you can't guarantee the removal of everything. So that will be a bit of a challenge. I don't know if Lima Oscar Mike knows about this mine, if he just suspects, but he's just completely gone around it every single time. 2 mines out in the area. And this Rakettenwerfer is just desperately waiting for a chance to slaughter some unknowing vehicle as it walks into his trap. Now, we are also going to see a Cromwell coming on in. Which is pretty good, obviously. And an infantry section over here being quite the pain in the backside. Going to be able to decap this fuel point unless these Panzer Fusiliers get inside, and they don't. They barely miss it by just a step or two. And it looks like that was a... Yep. Coordinated fire. I'm not sure why.
There's a rather splendid Cromwell ready to go.
Really not sure why. There's a lot of light vehicles already in, and actually bringing in that heavy tank now. Yeah, I cannot figure out why he's shelling this area. There's some manner of just covering fire. Maybe I can understand that, but he's not doing anything. Germans, in the meantime, coming on up incendiary grenades as well as Strom Pioneers. And I believe we will see a retreat coming out from that Rakettenwerfer, yes, as well as that Volksgrenadier squad. And Strom Pioneers now cannot stand up the firepower of that magnitude. They have to fall back. But this is why you have the Schwerpanzer headquarters. Puts down an incredible amount of firepower and allows some of the German, let's say, not so much reinforcements, but the Germans to kind of take at least a not base-locked position, though it sort of feels like that, just not a completely, you know? Now, I do not know. So getting the G43s there. And Strom Pioneers, okay, just getting more troops.
Line's been cut.
Kind of strange. There's some really kind of weird decisions being made by Fortune every now and again.
Enemies trying to take a point from us.
I believe the Vickers actually just is going to pick off... Oh, no, no, no. It's going to be this Cromwell's probably going to pick off the officer, and that will cause him to retreat if he was taken out. It looks like at least the Germans got a little bit of flesh for that mine yonder. Rakettenwerfer's trying desperately to get into position. Put shots into this Cromwell, not being able to do so, though. And this Vickers is causing a lot of problems, and there's a lot of M6s just placed out just ahead of this British line here. I think the reason why, that's why, because it's 90. They're so expensive, I forgot about that. STGs facing off against Brent in good cover. Not easy, mind you. But alright, okay, so instead, you're going to have the Vickers moving on up, and that's a surprisingly balanced attack there. But the AEC not shifting on forwards, nor is this machine gun. That's probably a good call there. And this Cromwell's hanging on back for a little bit of time. He's got almost double the amount of tickets his opponent has, so I guess that kind of makes sense. Now, will we see a forced retreat or something like that? No, the answer is not. I'd imagine even using a target them could be even easier. And there goes the officer, so that causes an immediate retreat. Now, behind enemy lines, we are going to see that these Pigrens are, Panzer Fusiliers are trying to take out the Vickers. But that will allow, in turn, the Rakettenwerfer to fire shots over at the AEC. But the AEC won't go down, so another Rakettenwerfer is shooting, another Rakettenwerfer is shooting at, that surviving just barely Universal Carrier. And now here's Royal Artillery Regiment, which means there's now a sexton on the battlefield, so get ready for some unholy fire to start dropping down on the German heads. Both of them are backing away. Will we see an actual ability for a shot? No, it's too quick. He's going to get away in time. Bren guys are going to get outflanked and shot to pieces. Sturm Pioneers behind you, as well as Panzer Fusiliers in front of you. The worst place to be is to be stuck in the middle with that. And that Cromwell has now hit the mine as well, so it's a beautiful, beautiful hit. I believe, yep, there comes that barrage. So blowing apart that Schwerpanzer headquarters. Question is, can he get this Rakettenwerfer out in time? Will it get hit by incidental shots? No, it's going to get out in time. And, oh my god, there goes the Sexton. He gets taken out by brilliant positioning. So, apparently God was not on their side. They used Volt indeed. And that's that. So a good turnaround there. Panzer IV coming on in, and I appreciate Fortune using a Panzer IV as opposed to waiting for forever in a freaking day to get a Panther. Now he is still suffering underneath the grip of a 2-to-1 cap, and that's going to be a 2-to-0 cap, and indeed probably still a 2-to-1 cap at the end of all this trade. But it's still worth noting. Oh god, where's that coming on out? Oh, incendiary and concentration barrage? Is it both? I don't know, but it's not going to be pretty, I can tell you that much. I guess we'll check the pyrotechnic display, or pyrotechnic whatever, supplies cool down once these guys stop running. No, they used that. Not sure what he's shooting at them, the concentration barrage. Well, in any case, there goes the Universal Carrier, so what happened? A brilliant opportunity for the UKF is now no longer that much more so. Bren guns are still managed to do a good amount of damage here, but this P4 in the area is taking out this garrisons one by one. I'm guessing what happened is that they just started bombarding the bejesus out of this, so pyrotechnic supplies happened there, maybe a concentration barrage just beyond. Officer continues to exchange fire, and it just seems whenever this guy's out in the battlefield, he just keeps taking hits. It just does not do well. P4 now is up in defilade, so this Cromwell cannot even manage to get eyes on. But between the Cromwell and the AEC, some good amount of damage can be done. Don't cheat out. And this is when it gets bad. P4 takes a slamming hit in the side, but it looks like he drew him in just about a couple shots out with that Rakettenwerfer. Schwerpanzer headquarters, in the meantime, appreciates this new line of sight and is able to now cover this strategic position there. So maybe the UKF kind of screwed up, and indeed he's lost actually a Bren squad up here. At the very least some Tommies. Nope, just some Tommies overall. But still, a death is a death. And now in the middle part of the field, what do we got? Nothing really. Just an exchange back and forth of life, nothing too severe. Now, we are going to see, we have some very good veterancy starting to appear on the field. We got 2 squads for the Germans already who have full veterancy. And both his Rakettenwerfers are doing rather well. That's rather good there. Now, for the British side of things, they have 2 squads as well with full veterancy. Nothing makes life too easy for them. This particular infantry section here, well, he's getting up close and personal, did some good damage to the Rakettenwerfer, but is encouraged ever so delicately to back off. AEC, in the meantime, he comes on in, 7 kills for him. He hasn't really been able to do a ton of damage necessarily just yet, but 21 kills and 5 stars of veterancy. P4 gets fixed on up a little bit. Fortune now diversifying, getting some indirect firepower. Probably a good call, all things considered. Now, all the mines are out from down here, which opens up the battle space for both sides, really. Now, will we see maybe even a Valentine? No, but that light tank, not the best idea, perhaps. And we're going to see a Firefly being called on in, I think. No, is that... Oh my god, I can never remember that for some reason. No, it is the Firefly. So Upgun Sherman is going to be the bugaboo over here for this P4. Now, if the P4 gets hit, is the big problem. Mobility somehow damaged on top of these Sturm Pioneers, which is kind of weird because
trying to take a point from us.
That wouldn't really make sense. Doesn't make sense even remotely when you think about it. ISG begins to unload though, and first couple of shots, impeccable aim. Oh my god, it's an impeccable aim. Where are they aiming? Oh my god, I didn't even realize it. This is a full map no matter... Oh my gosh, okay.
Sherman Firefly complete.
Honestly, I have not used Royal Artillery Regiment that much myself, so I'm surprised to see this. I guess I didn't realize that concentration barrage can be anywhere on the map.
Our capture point. They're trying to take it.
The Germans are down 300 tickets right now. But he's still holding strong. He refuses to give in, and you know, God love him for it. He's taking some significant losses to do it. This ISG, though, seems to be a great call. Hasn't gotten a whole lot of kills, but doing some great damage nonetheless. AEC does not realize the depth of danger that he's in, though. Raketwerfers are sidling on up, setting up for this shot. One shot. Two shots going to be easily coming on in. This is going to be the death of the AEC right here. Or not. Go after the Firefly. Better call, honestly, but going after the Firefly. Anti-tank grenade? There's one. Damaged engine, so that's dead. And the question now, is that Panzer IV going to go down? No. Shockingly enough, that's not going to be the case. In the meantime, though, this star-studded squad of Panzer Fusiliers over here...
A capture point is being overrun.
...will just do that voodoo that they do so well. Wow. So I cast a recent game where it was, how do I put it? There were 79 kills on one Panzer Fusilier squad. I was astounded by the amount of death and destruction that they did. I think between them and one other Panzer Fusilier squad, in fact, if you haven't checked it out just yet, you should. I think it's the one just before this particular cast. It was incredible. Now, to be fair, they were just Soviet squads galore. But regardless... 79 kills in the squad, that's pretty damn impressive. And now it looks like Fortune's been able to reverse the kind of pressure that he was under, and is now might even be able to threaten his own control of the map. It ain't perfect, mind you. You can see right here.
Enemy threatening a capture point.
Losing the middle VP is still going to happen to him, but he might be able to prevent the cap at least. It's unsure. Shockingly enough, this Vickers is still on the battle space, which really is astounding to me, considering his current position here. And it seems that Lima Oscar Mike is not yet ready to call it quits with his holy play just yet. Another Sexton being called on in. Not sure it's really the best call under the circumstances. And I'm kind of surprised that Lima Oscar Mike has not even upgraded this with the 60-pound tulip rockets. Now, these things by themselves can do an incredible amount of stun damage, let alone just damage that they can do overall. Rakettenberg from Mike get picked on off, and that was a 2-star Raketten, so that's a bit of a shock. You don't want to lose troops like that. That's not a particularly good thing to lose. ISG takes some firepower from the Sexton, a newly called in Sexton. But by the same token, again, it just constantly, it doesn't seem... When one guy is out, another one comes right back in and blows something else up of his opponents. It seems incredible the amount of devastation and pressure each one has put on the opposing number. I can't decide if he's trying to take out the Rakettenwerfer or what. Now, I don't think we're going to see Fortune looking to hold out for the Jagdtiger. Indeed, I think right now he's trying to take out that Rakettenwerfer. which is a bit of a curious call. I mean, good overall, but maybe if you can seize it for yourself, you diversify your army a little bit more, and hey, now you have increased AT against that P4 that's been doing a lot of damage. But Lima's been using a lot of off-map arty, or technically on-map arty, but call-ins to really do some good damage here. Aishi, in the meantime, he's not even gotten his first set of kills just yet. First set of stars, rather. That might change with this barrage. Getting close, but not quite enough. Gets a Fusiliers in the meantime, in the middle part of the field. They're going to take some bad hits here. Trying hard to take this position back. But the Germans have already lost their own expansion VP, and the center VP is not going to be back in their hands, let me tell you that much. And this British play is very, very interesting. Thoroughly not what I expected at all. He's looking to shell this position back here. Yes, he is. And I'm surprised it doesn't do more damage, but I guess there's a little bit of spread here and there.
The enemy cut our supply line.
Brigittenwerfer is finally beginning to evidence itself against that Cromwell, but the Cromwell continues to be quite a problem. And the Sherman Firefly could get aggressed on, maybe, no, not quite. Instead, at long last, the Germans do manage to take the center of town.
Our capture point. They're trying to take it.
Buggers indeed. But wow, how is it a rear armor hit? Could not for the life of me understand that one, but alright. Germans will find themselves outnumbered and not quite outfought, but it seems awfully close. Never mind, there they go. They push back the Brits with the help of this P4 right here. Brigittenwerfer holds this eastern flank strong. And it's hard to believe that Fortune at one point was pinned back in his base. He was base locked, more or less. He had here, and I think he had, what, a couple territories out here out of supply, as this was taken from him. And I think he barely held this. So it's an incredible, incredible turnaround, if nothing else there. But 120 to 438, another Brigittenwerfer being called on in. And part of me is curious why Fortune doesn't go, and call in his last SWS. It seems he is playing late game for that Jagdtiger, but I'm not sure it's really the right call. Officer goes down, sends back his own troops running for the hills. And the Sexton just continues to pound that base sector. I gotta have to have it. Okay, so creeping barrage. I mean, that's probably better for him. I'm surprised he's not to his first vet yet. Now we see something like Sector Overwatch. He's got the munitions for it now. But may not be the easiest thing for him to utilize. Now in the meantime, we will see another concentration barrage. Don't know from where. Okay, he's pushing back his opponents. Nope, never mind. Good God. I cannot get a grip on this at all. But a Bren is available and being called back immediately. And the Germans, yikes, barely don't make it out alive. Or do they? Nope, there goes the Brigittenwerfer. So all of the talented anti-tank gunners are dying. Doesn't matter what they seem to want to do, just they cannot stay alive here. And Lima Oscar Mike has lost all of his light vehicles, only to trade them out for much, much heavier counterparts. Now we see the tank commander would be a good idea. I mean, he can easily afford it. He's only 25. There are times I kind of wish I could even see the Cromwell, though, lose his tank commander. I mean, in the first company of heroes, it seemed whenever you had a tank commander, that guy was getting greased constantly. So maybe not 100% getting picked on off every single time, but it was still a very interesting mechanic to lose your gentleman up top. But despite the losses they've taken in their anti-tank gun core, well, this Cromwell continues to take hits from surviving 2 Rakettenwerfers, and now this one as well is rather good. Germans are losing their position over to the western flank. And these Rakettenwerfers are not even able to kind of deal with it. And I think, yep, he's just waiting for that late game Jagdtiger. 128 millimeter pack cannon.
Enemies trying to take
My
a point from us.
God. And another Cromwell being called on in. So I would say he's doubling down, but no, he's like tripling down right now. And this was an elaborate ruse of some sort. Put pressure onto this Sherman. Well, this P4 is still going to go down almost for sure. And that's the dead P4. The question is whether or not they can convert on this Cromwell or not. The answer to that is no, apparently they cannot. We are seeing Panzer Fusiliers trying to get in and around to throw out rifle grenade. And it pinged off to the side and it wasn't able to pick him on up.
There's a rather splendid Cromwell. Our capture point. They're trying to take it.
And the Germans approach, only 100 tickets left. So far, they've been down this entire game. They're getting slaughtered consistently. Obersoldaten come out and immediately get pounded by artillery. And very, very soon, we'll see the Schwerpanzer headquarters actually going down. That's it. There's no more late-game vehicles. He's going to stake everything he owns on this Jagdtiger once he gets the chance to call it in. Concentrated barrage coming on out, trying to take out the last little shreds. It will definitely do so.
The capture point is being overrun.
The Germans, in the meantime, though, still have not lost all of their bite. Might be able to take out one of these retreating Tommy squads. No. No, not at all. But there's still a very, very dangerous armored corps out. But with the lack of infantry, the Brits are starting to look a little bit ragged. They're calling in some more Royal Engineers as we speak. But we're going to see that Jagdtiger any second here. And there it is. The beast itself. Trundling on in. Engine improvements. Rotate and move more responsibly. I think he does eventually get... Yeah. He can actually get that. Eventually. He needs Vet 1. He needs that for... Oh my god. To pierce through any world object at the cost of rate of fire. The only question is now is what kind of damage can this beast do? Supported by 2 Rakettenwerfers, it could be quite good. Could be potentially even 3 if it wanted to be. 387 to 98 though. Obersoldat moving in towards the center part of the field, looking to pressure back these pyrotechnically inclined Tommies. And Jagdtiger sees its first victim. Opponent. Comes on in. Shell comes out, barely misses. I want to see what that does if it actually hits him for a change. But no, a second round does not come out.
Supply line's been cut.
So now tulip rockets go onto the sides of that Firefly. And I'm surprised that this guy's even taken as much damage as he has. I think it's been a consequence of this ISG. Of course, I might be wrong. I've been wrong before. I've been wrong many times.
We're losing a capture point.
So we'll be quite curious to see who can pull this out. The Germans with one lone real armored vehicle for quite a bit of time. Or the Brits with a giant armored corps, but very little in the way of infantry. Vickers coming on out might be able to engage these Obersoldaten. No, well, at least the booby trap comes out instead. And there we go. One shot takes him down to just above 50% health. Literally like 52%. Not a ton of damage, perhaps, immediately. But that thing is still a monster, man. And there we go. So that is a devastating trap. Booby trap being done. Question is, can he go and pick off that last Tommy? Really? He can't? Wow. Shockingly enough, the two tulip rockets miss. I have no idea how, in the name of Bob, they do. But the Cromwells are engaging. They're moving in quite aggressively. One hits a mine. They're just going to get around behind him, and I want to tell you that this will be okay, but I can't. He's going to roll over a mine, though, it looks like. No, maybe, yes, no. Nope, it's going to be a dead. That's dead right there. Now, Kettenwerfer could clean up, though. One shot. No, he doesn't clean up. He could have cleaned up. Oh my god, he could have cleaned up both of them. They could be dead so many times over, but no, it's not going to happen. Instead, the Kettenwerfer is trying to sidle on across, and maybe he can pick up two of them. There's still another Cromwell out there, though, as well as that Sexton, as well as that Sherman Firefly. So here's one kill, I would imagine. From way down time? Maybe? Boo-boo? It's one. But will he get the other one? I don't know. I find myself kind of doubting it.
The enemy have knocked out a Cromwell tank.
Sturm Pioneers do manage to take out and even force a drop from these Sten-armed Royal Engineers, but they don't pick it up, or they do, and there they go. So now the Sturm Pioneers have themselves a nice edge in firepower. 92 to 349, though. The Germans have no vehicles. No vehicles. And he's not pushing anywhere near, I think, able to push back and take control of this map from the Brits. I think the Brits, despite having very minimal in the way of infantry, have garnered the W. But Fortune believes his luck hasn't run out just yet. Concentrated barrage going down the middle part of the field. Could do some great damage since these Germans have not seen fit to run away.
Our capture point. They're trying to take it.
And this Vickers is doing some good work as well. Infantry sections coming under firepower here and there. A new one coming on in, and the Germans are getting reduced one by one, down until death, it looks like. Obers, these guys have not gotten any veterancy so far. They did some good damage, but not gotten any veterancy. And now apparently just run across another mine. So that's just the name of the game so far. It just seems the Germans, wherever they go, they cannot clutch out any sort of mercy here. One more shot. Not quite. Pupchin has to turn, and he's just going to get circle strafed. You got to run now. And because I get the feeling this one's actually rapidly running out in terms of time for the Germans, speed this up a little bit more. Kettenwerfer is still back in base, and I would say these Sturm Pioneers really should repair this battle group headquarters. But with their Brens, it seems very, very difficult to go out and to not be engaging the enemy. And they've proven that their game. And proving that they're still game, they're still pushing on in. Assault artillery, oh my gosh, where's it being plopped on down? Okay, this area right here.
The enemy have 75 points left.
So might be able to take out.
Enemy causing trouble, trying to take one of our points.
Maybe. Okay. Maybe not. A desperate attack, though, being thrown over here to the eastern flank. The Germans are trying very, very hard to take as many of these positions as possible. Vickers causing still death and destruction galore. And despite the fact that they've been hit with an assault artillery, the only thing that's come close to them is smoke. And finally to combat this, it looks like Lima Oscar Mike is going to go and pick himself up a Centaur. Shockingly enough, a perfect tank to deal with what's left of his opponent's army.
Centaur Ack tank ready and waiting for orders.
5-star Kettenwerfer, though. Amusing indeed. He's only got one kill for himself. And finally the Vickers going down. And the Vickers has finally gone down. The Vickers that's been here for so long is finally dead. And oh my god, could the Germans actually just win this just by virtue of having infantry while their opponent does not?
Enemy threatening a capture
Because that would be
point.
shocking beyond all measure. Grenade coming on out. Bundle grenade, in fact. Oh no, it's just a Blendkupfer. So encouraging his opponent to run.
Our supply line's broken.
That's actually a brilliant idea. My god, I wasn't even expecting that. Okay, this guy's going to cause quite an issue, though, once he runs into these Panzer Fusiliers. But again, another anti-tank gun trap. They have to run right now, but I imagine we could see another shot. That's one. And there goes the 5-star veterancy. But might be able to turn this around? And again, maybe not. Maybe not. These guys are stuck, and there goes another Rakettenwerfer. Question is now, can we turn it real quick? No, they can't. Faust, damaged engine. Get a shot off? No, he can't. Look at that, just constant death. But no, brilliant shot right there. He deserves that promotion and more.
Tank's been lost.
One kill as vehicle-wise, but he plopped it right back on the end of that engine compartment. And that was a brilliant kill right there, if I can say so myself. 58 to 347, though. Fortune is just dying, trying to get to that last, perhaps getting one more Jagdpanzer. But the question is, right now, does he even have the time for it? He's under a triple cap, and the Germans are nowhere near coming out of their base to do it.
The enemy only have 50 points left.
Sturmoffizier is charging into the fray. He knows that victory or defeat depends on his life, and he pays that life dearly. Slain almost as soon as he comes into the battle space.
They're trying to take it.
Rear armor hit on top by Cromwell, but it doesn't seem to matter. Desperately, the Germans throw themselves out in this mad attack. They take out another infantry section. Will they get the western one as well? They at least get the decap. They got the decap at least. And they're trying hard to push against this, but Cromwell is going to just slaughter them.
Supply line's been cut.
Now the Germans push to the east, where there's another Cromwell waiting for them, and I guess we're probably going to see another desperate Faust. No, it's just going to just decap consistently. So, with this Soviet-style attack, I'm surprised it's even remotely working. The Germans take 1 point. They take potentially a second one. Dear God, they could actually do it.
Anti-aircraft tank ready and waiting.
They could actually do it.
Enemy causing trouble, trying to take one of our points.
Rakettenwerfer coming on in. Sneaky. He's throwing rounds into that Sexton. The Sexton's not going to get out alive. One more shot.
The enemy cut our supply line.
Bam! There goes one of the vehicles right there. So, dear Christ, this could be a victory. Dear God Almighty, could this be it? Faust him. Damaged engine. One shot. Decrewed. Get on over there or no? No, he's not going to be aggressive for it. We could see an anti-tank rifle grenade come on down. Another Jagdtiga has been called on in. So now we have a Cromwell, a Centaur, a severely wounded Cromwell, and a Sherman Firefly against a massive killer. God help me, I don't even know who's winning. 16 to 3, 3-2. Damaged engine there. Oh my god, just barely missing to the side. But that Jagdpanzer now, none of its enemies can really get behind it. Just that Sherman Firefly. I have to put this down.
Damned enemies trying to take a point from us.
16 to 3-9. Germans are taking the western VP. Brits are taking the east. And the Germans might have been able to run the clock out on the British advance. The British went full vehicle heavy, and I don't know if that's going to be enough. Another Cromwell being brought on in. Again, this Jagdtiga is the heart and soul of the Germans right now. Going to see ourselves an early warning coming on out, so flares periodically going on up over top of the enemy frontline territories. Damage being done there already. Panzer Fusiliers are going to spot for this Jagdtiga. And why shouldn't they? Pounds a shot into that Sherman Firefly. Another one? Not quite yet, no. But the Jagdtiga is trooping on in. He is fearless at this point. If Fortune can get this and get some vehicle kills, he will have won this game.
We're losing a capture
The
point.
Brits are not able to keep them at range anymore. Panzer Fusiliers are getting slaughtered, though. They got to back up. So they back away. And Jagdtiga, excuse me, getting circle strafed. Faust right there, so that's one. That's gonna be basically one kill. But that AK tank is doing incredible amounts of damage, my friends. Incredible amounts of damage. Another shot, perhaps, might be enough to kill him. And just takes forever and a day. No, there goes the Jagdpanzer, and that's a defeat right there. He was so close to pulling it back in. So close to pulling it back in, but I don't think Fortune's got it in him anymore. So at the end of 51 minutes, Lima Oscar Mike takes the game. Wow. Mostly because that Jagdtiga just could not manage to get that death and destruction he was hoping for. So 51-12, 304-16, winner by way of surrender. Lima Oscar Mike wins by playing a very, very non-meta UKF. Fortune, in the meantime, well, he had a bit of bad luck, and he's been having a lot of that recently when I've been casting his games. Regardless, it was entertaining, and my heart was in my throat at the end of that. Really thought he could have had that. But unfortunately, not pulling it out. So congratulations to Lima Oscar Mike. Better luck next time to the Fortune, and folks, that's going to be it for me today. This has been Con Ulrich. You've been great, and if you're not a member yet, hit that subscribe button, like, comment on the video. Let's hear some constructive feedback if you want to. You let me know what kind of games you want me to check on out. But I'll see you guys all soon. Have a great day. Take it easy.